Your fever is high and the pressure to log in at work is too. But when you finally decide to take care of you, there's Instacart. Just because that one perfect coworker of yours is attending all meetings, camera on while she's sneezing, coughing, and aching, doesn't mean you have to do the same. Take it from us. Trying to stay on top of things will only get you further behind. Instead, get everything from tissues and teas to cough suppressants and comforting soups delivered through Instacart in as fast as 30 minutes. If anyone needs anything, they can just redirect their questions to that one perfect coworker of yours.
Celebrate and save at Ashley's Anniversary Sale. With Hot Buys, your choice of colors starting at just $3.99. Ashley Sleep mattresses starting at $2.50. Plus, receive a free adjustable base with select mattress purchases. And shop top mattress brands like Stearns & Foster, Tempur-Pedic, Purple, and Beautyrest Black with 60-month special financing. Only at Ashley. Subject to credit approval. No minimum purchase required. Minimum monthly payment, down payment, tax, and delivery may be required. See store for details.
Why?
If you have T-Mobile 5G home internet, you might be hearing this
Why?
a lot.
Why?
Every time your internet slows down during the busiest hours.
Why?
Because your network gives priority to cell phone users.
Why?
Good question. Why not switch to Cox Internet with 2 times faster download speeds than T-Mobile 5G home internet during peak hours?
Okay.
Stop the whys and visit cox.com/5G home for details. T-Mobile prioritizes certain T-Mobile phone users over home internet users during times of congestion.
Are you ready? You want the noise brought on you? Because here it comes.
What?
The noise brought on you, because here it comes.
Just my job.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Bob Lutz.
How do I turn the dial on a show I'm on? I feel like I got nowhere to go.
Truth be told, a majority of the American people would ultimately empathize with our situation.
Jeff Lutz.
The reason there's no weaklings is because there's no stronglings.
Nature versus nurture. Nature always wins.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Everything you need to make it happen.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. It is a Monday edition of the Bob and Jeff Show on KFH Radio. Bob Lutz, Jeff Lutz here for 2 hours today. Chilly, cold. You never know what you're going to get in March or April. Makes it difficult for baseball and softball. We learned earlier that the Shockers softball game, much anticipated game against Oklahoma tomorrow night here at Wilkins Stadium, has been postponed until April, when the weather will hopefully be warmer. The problem with that is I recorded an interview with Shocker player Bailey Urban earlier today.
You got her name right.
And I don't know. Well, we're going to run it. And so everything you hear about the OU game, just transport yourself a month ahead of time and plant yourself in April. Pretend like it's April.
I'm sure they're still looking forward to it, even though it's not going to happen for a little while. So the comments she made, whatever they happen to be about Oklahoma, probably still apply.
Sure. Of course they apply. Unless I was just researched Oklahoma. They're incredible. They have, in this day and age where offense is way up in softball because of some rules changes several years ago, they have a 1.39 team ERA. They're 31-1. Their only loss is to Louisiana, and I don't know how they lost that game. Louisiana's good, but they're 21-13. Since Patty Gasso became the head coach at Oklahoma all the way back in 1995, guess their record against the Shockers?
95, so 28 years. I would say they've played about 15, 16 times. 14-2.
40-0.
They've played 40 times?
Yeah.
Wow.
40-0.
I don't remember them. I guess they have played more often than just in the last few years.
That's incredible. And the Shockers, as we know, are no easy touch. So unbelievable what Oklahoma has done on the softball ranks. Here's what we have on the show today. We will talk to Bailey Urban at about 3:40 or thereabouts. John Ontjes, the women's basketball coach at Hutchinson Community College. They are getting ready to play in the national tournament in Casper, Wyoming. Their first-round matchup coming up Wednesday. We'll talk with John Ontjes at 2:25. At 2:45, Donnie Jackson, the head men's coach at Cowley Community College. They've already won a game in the National Junior College Men's Tournament over at Hutchinson. They play today at 5 o'clock in their second round matchup against Northwest Florida State. Hutchinson's playing right now over at the Sports Arena, and Barton County plays at 3:30. So a triple header of Kansas teams. I should have gone over.
What venues are they using over there?
Sports Arena.
You said one game was at 3:30 and one was at 5.
They'll figure it out.
That can't be right,
6.
can it?
I don't know when it is. 2:30. Don't.
I'm just asking.
You
I
know,
thought maybe they're
here's
playing
what
it.
you do that is maybe your most irritating trait. Instead of saying, I think you got the times wrong.
No, I figured they were playing at
You're gonna ask,
sites.
when have they ever played the national tournament at two different sites?
I don't know. I'm sure
they've never done that.
Okay.
So the proper question would have been to say, hey, Dad, I think you got the times wrong. Because Barton and Walters State don't play at 3:30. On the website I looked at, it says 3:30, but that's Eastern time. So it's a 2:30 tip. That means the Hutch game is probably close to wrapping up. Maybe we could find out who won that. And then at 5 o'clock, we've got Cowley and Northwest Florida State. So what we had was a Kansas triple header. Did I know that before I had to look it up? No. Because why? Because nobody reports on this stuff like we used to.
No, not really.
I didn't have a clue. This should have been, maybe it was. Was it in the Wichita Eagle?
I don't know.
Did you guys report it out at your place?
Well, we were otherwise.
No. Anytime you're going, oh, well, we were
otherwise staffed.
Doesn't matter
Doing
if you're
the
staffed.
NCAA tournament. Yeah, it does matter if
Can't
you're
you
staffed.
report it?
We have to have someone there to report it.
You can't put it on the website. By the way, we got this amazing day at the National Men's Junior College Tournament. We got all three of our teams playing back to back to back. That's never happened before.
Never?
No.
Do we know that?
I can guarantee it.
Well, I don't know about never. I don't know if that's true or not. So,
for one thing, they've got a different qualification system. There was never an opportunity for 3 Jayhawk teams to get in the national tournament. Now there is. So yeah, I can assure you that never has this happened before.
So when do the Hutch women play?
They play Wednesday in Casper, Wyoming.
Really? I thought, okay. Didn't the women used to be around here too?
In Salina, but it hasn't been there for a while.
All right. Well, I don't know that either.
Right.
Casper, Wyoming. That's fun. I like Casper. I was there once.
You've never been to Casper, Wyoming?
Yeah, I had Mexican food in Casper,
Really?
Wyoming. Yeah, on the way to Yellowstone Park. Had to stop in Casper.
Well, why don't you give me a Hutch score?
Well, aren't you on the website?
Yeah, but it hasn't refreshed. It still shows that, oh, wait a minute. The final, Hutchinson wins. Well, they're up 88-72 with 5 minutes left in the game over USC Salkehatchie, wherever that is.
Somewhere in California, I assume.
So congratulations to the Hutch Blue Dragons, who look like they'll be on to round number 2. Who's the number 1 seed over in Hutchinson, you ask? Barton County.
Good for them. Maybe we'll have to have their coach on at some point.
Well, if they hadn't played today at 2:30, I might have tried to make that happen. Hopefully they'll win, and we can get him on tomorrow's show. But I'm all about that stuff, even though I had to look it up because I certainly couldn't find it on any of our news sites.
Well, sorry about that.
Well, get on it.
Well, if there was a demand for it, we would.
All it takes is, I'm going to go back in time for you. You love it when I do that. So the Junior College National Tournament still is, in my opinion, a big deal. But it used to be a really big deal. And there was a group of people I knew from Wichita who went over every year. Maybe not for every session, but certainly for a lot of the sessions. And just watched basketball. It was a who's who of recruiting. I don't know if that's still the case now in the portal and
it's hard to say that it would
we
be.
have. I don't know if there's a lot of D1 coaches or D2 or whatever showing up over at the sports arena the way there used to be, but it used to be just like a who's who of big-time coaches, even big-time coaches who had their teams in the NCAA tournament. They'd make sure to fly in here, on a Monday after a Saturday or Sunday win. Even if they were in the Sweet 16, they would come in for this tournament just to be there and to show their face and to try to recruit some of these folks. What's the level of junior college recruiting that's going on nowadays? I don't know. I'm going to have to ask.
Well, we'll ask
Donnie Jackson about that. I would imagine it's still pretty high, but recruiting has changed.
Well, and we can ask John Ontjes, who's been at Hutchinson forever and has seen everything.
Yes, he has. So we've got all that going on today. We'll have a Bob and Jeff draft also coming up in hour number 2. And some more things coming up this week. Of course, baseball, Major League Baseball opens on Thursday. Shohei Ohtani from the Dodgers is going to make a statement. Not release it, but he's actually going to get in front of the media and make a statement today at about 4:45 Central Time out at the Dodgers Spring Training Complex. And he's not going to take questions from the media. Thoughts?
Well, this is how this typically unfolds. You have to at least make an illusion that you're trying to get ahead of it or addressing it in some way. So I guess I'm not really surprised that Shohei's getting in front of cameras. I'm not really surprised that he's not taking questions. This just seems like the next logical step in whatever is going to happen. He has to say something.
Speaking of the next logical step, on Friday's show, I explained what I thought should be the next logical step, which was Major League Baseball doing its independent investigation into this situation. I met with remarkable resistance in that argument.
Sure did.
Incredible resistance, like it was the dumbest idea that had ever been floated.
That's what the problem was. You were taking the argument as if I was arguing against you. I was arguing what I thought Major League Baseball's stance on the whole thing would be.
And I was dumbfounded by it. As I said on this show, I could not believe that you were taking that stance. It almost felt like, well, my dad's going to feel like this, so I'm going to, in the interest of the show, I'm going to say the opposite.
Don't you still believe that Major League Baseball is going to do everything it possibly can to make this a non-story?
I hope not. I don't think so.
Well, but that's what I believe.
There's integrity here that's at stake. I don't think they would be announcing an investigation into this if they didn't intend to investigate it, and that's what they've always done, and thankfully they do that. They're not going to sweep this under the rug. They understand. They're not dummies. They know how harmful this is to their brand and their product. But what would be more harmful? Knowing that something illicit had happened and not thoroughly vetting it and investigating it. That would be more harmful. So, yeah, they're doing an investigation. You're still not convinced. I mean, it's unbelievable to me.
I'm not convinced.
You were trained in journalism.
I'm not convinced that Major League Baseball. I'm convinced that they don't want this to become anything, and that's different from whether.
So let's say they do an investigation, okay, and they are doing one, and their investigation doesn't jibe with what the other investigations are going to be, whatever those are, whether they're federal, whether they're, I don't know what they are. Let's say Major League Baseball looks foolish after they release their investigation, and then whatever other entity would come along and say, well, this is what happened, and it's completely different from what Major League Baseball has turned out. Give him some belief, man.
I'm just saying that there's a reason that the stories coming out are about his interpreter being a con man, not having worked at the places he said he worked, not having attended the colleges where he said he'd attend. That's PR. We're not talking about necessarily journalism here. We're talking about.
Well, here's the thing, and you're gonna don't get me fired up again, because you're like a hard-headed. It's really hard to get through to you sometimes. So here's the thing. Major League Baseball has an investigation wing of its own, okay? So they go out and they hire these people. They're part of their security, whatever they are. And they hire these people, and they're brought in to hold the integrity of the game because it's a major multi-billion-dollar entity. So these folks are entrusted to protect the integrity of Major League Baseball. And that's their job. And to imply that, well, Major League Baseball doesn't want this to be investigated.
I didn't say that.
They want to. Here's the outcome they want.
I didn't say that. That is the outcome. That is the outcome they want.
Doesn't matter. It's not the outcome that these investigators want. They're not going into it with any expectation. They're going into it to investigate, just like anybody else that's charged with investigation would. I mean, if you think Major League Baseball's corrupt, that's another argument.
I don't think Major League Baseball is corrupt. I think it's in Major League Baseball's best interest to put out stories that his interpreter has lied.
What do you mean put out stories?
I just told you.
Who's putting out those stories?
You haven't read those?
Sure, but is that Major League Baseball?
It's not Major League Baseball.
Are they confirming that?
Yeah, the Red Sox confirmed that he didn't work for them.
Okay. Well, he didn't.
Okay.
So we've shown him to be untruthful.
You think a reporter found all that?
Now we need to find out what Shohei Ohtani's involvement really is. If there is more to it than what we know right now. And I completely have faith that Major League Baseball and its investigative wing will get to the bottom of that.
Well, that's great.
And whatever that outcome is, that's what they'll get to. Shohei Ohtani, as great as he is, as much as he means to Major League Baseball, and he means a lot, not just in the United States, but across the world. He's the biggest star in their sport, maybe the biggest star that their sport's ever had. But if he's done wrong here, that's not going to matter.
I understand. I don't think that's what I'm arguing.
It feels like that's what you're arguing. Like Major League Baseball isn't going to put a serious effort into this investigation because Shohei Ohtani means so much to Major League Baseball. I don't know how else to interpret what you're saying.
No, I've said what I've said. So
did I get that right?
Not really, but that's okay.
Well, say it again.
No, I'm okay.
I really
Let's talk about something else.
No, I really don't understand.
We've beaten this to death. Let's move on. Let's talk about
what
something
do you want
else.
to talk about?
I don't know. How about
Let's get to Jim, who's on the phone. Jim bails you out. Hey, Jim.
Yeah, but we're not changing the subject, or I'm not changing the subject. Ever since the Boston Black Sox and all the scandals of all kinds and so forth, it is more than past time that we give my boy Pete Rose absolution U in baseball and put him in the Hall of Fame.
Well, you're certainly not alone. I personally don't believe Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame, but that's okay. We can disagree on that. Anybody who bet on the game of baseball and the very integrity of the games he was managing should not be rewarded with a Hall of Fame induction.
People would
What's that?
People would bet that were playing baseball and so forth at St. Mark's in Cowley. They would bet back in the 40s 80 acres of ground, and they were playing on the team, or their dad was playing on the team, was father of one of the players or something like that. Betting is as
I don't know what happened at St. Mark's, but that wasn't as a manager of a Major League Baseball team, Jim.
I understand that, but betting is a way of life. You know, I mean,
Well,
makes you wanna go.
sure, betting has been around forever, but you can't do it illegally, and you can't do it unethically.
But it's time for you and all of baseball to give Pete Rose absolution and put him in the Hall of Fame.
Never. But thanks for the call, Jim. I appreciate it. Just don't believe it. Just not a go. Say that again, Max.
K-State Dave.
Here's Dave. Hey, Dave.
Yes, hey, nice to talk to you guys again. I haven't talked to you guys together. It's usually you, Bob, by yourself, or Jason and Jeff together. But just a couple things. Well, first with K-State, I'll tell you, we got a lot to look forward to next year. It's been a disappointing year, but I think K-State football will be back next year, and the women, of course, are looking great. And let's just hope Jerome tank and get the portal going. But the main thing I called about is I'm very disappointed in the Big 12. I mean, if Houston would have lost in that overtime game, we'd only have one team left. And I think we might have been overrated. Baylor disappointed me last night. They should have won that game. And I don't know what's wrong with the Big 12, but losing all these games and BYU, and really BYU and really was the biggest disappointment. I don't understand. I thought they were overrated, but you guys tell me, was the Big 12 overrated? Hell, they should only have really about one team left.
And I hate to rush you, but I do have to get to a guest here in a few minutes. But yes, the Big 12.
Yeah, thank you.
The Big 12 has not had a good tournament. Fortunately, they've still got two teams left. If one of those gets to a Final Four, or even potentially both of them get to a Final Four, we won't be talking about how the Big 12 was overrated. So it still has to play out, Dave. All right, there goes Dave. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk with Hutchinson Community College women's coach John Ontjes. The Blue Dragons have had an amazing year. They will be in Casper, Wyoming to open play in the National Women's Junior College Tournament coming up Wednesday. John Ontjes, our guest next.
Call from mom. Answer it. Call silenced.
Instacart knows nothing gets between you and the game. That's why they make ordering from your couch easy. Stock up today and get all your groceries for the week delivered in as fast as 30 minutes without missing a minute of the game.
You have 47 new voicemails.
Download the app to get free delivery on your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 per order. Additional terms apply.
Celebrate and save at Ashley's Anniversary Sale. With Hot Buys, your choice of colors starting at just $3.99. Ashley Sleep mattresses starting at $2.50. Plus, receive a free adjustable base with select mattress purchases. And shop top mattress brands like Stearns & Foster, Tempur-Pedic, Purple, and Beautyrest Black with 60-month special financing. Only at Ashley. Subject to credit approval. No minimum purchase required. Minimum monthly payment, down payment, tax, and delivery may be required. See store for details.
Why?
Why? If you have T-Mobile 5G home internet, you might be hearing this
Why?
a lot.
Why?
Every time your internet slows down during the busiest hours.
Why?
Because your network gives priority to cell phone users.
Why?
Good question. Why not switch to Cox Internet with 2 times faster download speeds than T-Mobile 5G home internet during peak hours?
Okay.
Stop the whys and visit cox.com/5G home for details. T-Mobile prioritizes certain T-Mobile phone users over home internet users during times of congestion.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
All right, John Ontjes joins us from Hutchinson Community College. They are beginning play in the National Junior College Tournament on Wednesday at 3:30 against an opponent to be named. And John, you're having an incredible year. How are you doing?
I'm good, Bob. Thanks for having me on.
We talked to you, 6 weeks ago, and you were unbeaten. Here you are today. You're 33-0. I believe that's unbeaten. So it's been a storybook season for you. Could you have imagined this kind of success?
No, I really didn't foresee this, happening like this year. But it's been fun to be a part of it. We got off to a great start. And I think the last time that I talked to you, we were getting ready to play at Butler after Christmas, and just continued after Christmas. And it's been like you said, a storybook year.
So, you had that run between 2012 and 15, I believe, where you went to the championship game 3 times. Is this your best team since then? Is this your best team ever? And what did that kind of run teach you about how fleeting those opportunities can be?
You're right. We did go to play in the national championship game those 3 seasons. I'm not sure. This probably isn't our best team out of those 4 teams, but it is our I think our most balanced group that we've had. We just have a group that just has a toughness and a grit about them that they just don't want to get beat. So back in 2011, 12, we had a kid by the name of Kalani Purcell that probably was the best player in the country, went on to BYU. We don't have that type of player on this team, but we just have some kids that understand their role. Obviously our best player is Kiki Smith as a freshman, and I think we've got good leadership from our sophomores, and it's really an enjoyable group to be around.
Talking with former Nickerson and Oklahoma basketball standout John Ontjes, the head women's coach at Hutchinson Community College. And you always hope to have health because injuries can wreck teams quicker than anything. This is remarkable. 4 of your starters have started all 33 games, and the 5th starter has started 31 games. That's almost unheard of. You got to feel I don't want to jinx it, but that's pretty remarkable, isn't it?
It is, and that's one of the reasons why we've been able to do this is we've stayed away from injury. And it's unfortunate, our starting point guard did suffer a concussion the last game of this against Butler in the region. So she's been out all week from practice for concussion protocol. But we've stayed away from injuries, and we only have 11 kids on our team. Our biggest kid's 5'11", so that's going to be a challenge for us here at the national tournament.
So, you go 33-0 and counting, perhaps. You're going to win a lot of different types of games, but, you've won shootouts, games in the 70s and 80s, and you've gotten up to the 90s a few times. And then your last 2 games were 54-52 in the Region 6 championship over Butler, and then 49-39 over Barton in the semis. So what enables your team to kind of play both of those styles, the up and down and maybe the gritted out, and which type do you prefer?
Well, I think our team's better when we play fast, but obviously when you play teams the 3rd time, they really know everything you do, and it's just very difficult to score. And we adjusted. We had to score in the half court, definitely against Barton in the semis, and then Butler did a tremendous job of defending us in the finals, and we just made enough plays in the second half to win those games.
Talking with John Ontjes, the head coach of the Hutch women. John, what's it like? What's the venue like in Casper? Does that city really get behind this tournament? Is the venue a good one? What are your thoughts on the national tournament being in Wyoming?
Well, to tell you the truth, Bob, we're pulling up in the venue right now on the bus. We're getting ready to go for a 30-minute shoot around here in the venue. I've just seen pictures of the venue. It looks it's going to be a nice venue to play in. I don't know how well the town of Casper is going to support it, because this is the first year that we've come to Casper. I will tell you this: it's a long drive, and we've been coming through snow quite a bit, but we're used to it. We're hoping some of those Florida and Texas teams that they forgot to bring their puffy coats.
Do you talk differently to an undefeated team than you would another team? I don't know necessarily how to phrase that, but this is a team that's 33-0. Obviously, the expectations are sky high. Do you mention anything like that to them? Is it still a game by game approach, or can you talk about the bigger picture with them?
We really haven't looked much forward than the next game that we have, and so this team really is as consistent as they've been. They really never looked ahead at any opponents. I never felt like we took anyone for granted, or we didn't have very many bad outings where maybe your team wasn't as focused. So and I think that's our with some of the maturity that we have with some of our players, that they've handled this situation extremely well.
Talking with John Ontjes. John, I go way back. I saw you play in high school, watched you play in college. When did the game of basketball take hold for you? Because you kind of looked like and played like the kind of kid that it took hold when you were very young, and you started playing basketball when? Tell us about that journey a little bit.
Oh, myself, I can remember playing, and when I can remember my mom telling me that when I was big enough to walk, I was dribbling the basketball. So it's been a lot of years, and I've been a part of a lot of great coaches. Coach Sampson was my last coach that I played for, and you obviously see what his teams are doing at Houston. I mean, they're number one seed this year, and he's done a great job there, and just have played, I feel like, for a lot of good coaches. So I think that's helped me a lot to be able to look at different styles and help our groups out the best I can.
Well, you mentioned Kelvin Sampson, and of course Houston. What a game that was against Texas A&M last night, and he's so demonstrative on the sidelines. What makes him such a great coach, and how do you try to emulate him?
Well, I think what makes him a great coach is really I think his players know how much they care, or how much he cares for them, what he demands, from them, and just, their style of play, fits their players. I think that's what he, gives to their team. He's so competitive, he's so driven, and, you look at their ball clubs, and their ball clubs really take the identity of their head coach, how tough he is and how demanding he is.
We were talking earlier about recruiting and the effects of the transfer portal. Do you think women's basketball has seen the full effects of what the transfer portal is and can be? Do junior college players, do they get as many opportunities as they did 5 and 10 years ago?
No, I don't think so. I think the transfer portal has really hurt our level of basketball because it really is our kids become the last opportunity. The bigger schools, they go through the portal and see who they can get out of the portal, and then they kind of fill in their roster later with the junior college kids, unless you have a legit Power 5 kid.
Well, we are following Hutch as you get set to play on Wednesday in Casper, Wyoming. Your opponent will be determined today, but you're the number one seed in this tournament, of course, 33-0, 3:30 on Wednesday. The Blue Dragons open play in the National Junior College Tournament. John, thanks so much. I appreciate talking with you.
Bob, it's always great for you to have me on. I appreciate all the what you do for us.
All right, take care. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, there's a guy that if I was an AD, I'd say, John, what do you want?
He's had a lot of success,
but he loves Hutch.
Needs to finish one off, get the ring.
He'll get it done.
That Hutch and he deserve.
He'll get it done.
Well, I sure hope so. Dodge City also in the women's tournament.
There you go. Good job.
I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, Dodge City is in the women's tournament. And they play, when do they play? Tomorrow at 3:30. They're the 18th seed in this tournament. They play East Georgia State.
Wait, when does Hutch play?
They play Wednesday.
Okay.
At 3:30.
Okay, that makes sense.
Donnie Jackson joins us. He's the head men's coach at Cowley Community College. Cowley College, they are in the national tournament in Hutch. They play a little bit later today, but Donnie, you put a little time aside to talk to us. Thank you so much. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me, guys.
So before we talk to you about your team, and we will do that, you played at Highland Park in your high school days. Did you play for Randy Springs?
Well, actually, I didn't play high school ball. I got an interesting story. I did attend Highland
What?
Park, and yes, sir, that's right. I never
Okay.
played 1 minute at Highland Park.
How'd you get to Allen Community College?
I mean, it's quite a story, but the short version, not to bore you, I made some poor choices when I was younger, and the principal and Ken Darting, an all-time great there, kind of got me on the right road, and they got me a chance to play in the city all-star game, and I did well, and I got a scholarship opportunity at Fort Scott and a walk-on opportunity at Allen, and I took the route to Allen County.
That's pretty impressive. So here you are now with Cowley. You already have a game under your belt in the national tournament, beating Allegheny College of Maryland. What's been the experience like so far? How nice was it to get that first one under your belt and moving forward?
I feel like the first one's the toughest one, and I'm real proud of the guys because they've worked really hard this year. We've had adversity all year with injuries and this and that, and for them to come over here and have a statement win the first round, just really proud of them because they've been bought into the process all year long.
Talking with Donnie Jackson from Cowley College. How cool is it? I made this remark earlier in the show. It wasn't every year that the Jayhawk gets three teams in this tournament, and you're all playing back to back to back today. That's just unbelievable. I hope there's a lot of people over at the Sports Center for this.
Well, I was actually just over at the Hutch US-Sakahatchee game, and there was quite the crowd. We had a really good crowd last night, too. And if it wasn't for us needing to get ready for our game, heading back to the hotel, we'd be over there supporting Barton. But, this year, all three of us had amazing years. For all three of us to have 20-plus conference wins is almost unheard of. In the 3 years I've been in the league, if you don't count this year, it's only been done once, and that was Dodge City. The year they went 30-5 or whatever it was, and last year no one had 20 wins in league play, and this year you got three teams, and we're second. That's crazy. With 21 conference wins, you'd think you'd have a chance to win.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
and you've played some really good games against those two other teams. So, how much has the Jayhawk just prepared you for what you are experiencing now in the postseason?
Well, it's just the rigors, all the travel, the emotional and mental toll. I mean, it's a long year, and but the guys have really stuck together and fought through some things, and I definitely think it helped us in the first round just because you're battle tested, and no matter how today it goes, we were picked 8th in the preseason, and it's all house money this whole season the way we played, and that's just a tribute to our guys believing in what we've been selling them and them working hard and This is all just not necessarily a miracle season, but it's just a season that's been put together behind the scenes with a lot of hard work.
Cowley Tigers in action today at 5 o'clock at the Sports Arena to face Northwest Florida State. We're talking Cowley Tigers with their head coach, Donnie Jackson. So you got three sophomores who are your three leading scorers. We talked to John Ontjes from Hutchinson a minute ago. We were remarking about how his starters really answered the bell for all of their games. It's kind of the same with you. You haven't had many significant injuries, at least to your starters, have you?
Not to the starting group. We do have one. We got an injury about a week and a half ago that we're losing a key contributor off the bench, Leslie Owens. He has a navicular fracture, so he's a big loss. He was a big stabilizer off the bench and even started some games for us. But if we can avoid foul trouble, our starters are definitely good enough to carry us. But if we get too deep into the bench, that's where we get a little bit, more limited on the offensive side of things.
Tell us about those sophomore starters. How good are they? What kind of level will they be playing at in the future?
Well, Jeff Wanquo was named Jayhawk Conference MVP, and he's got offers from Arizona State and California and Colorado, amongst others. I mean, there's several Big 12 schools and SEC schools that have called me on him here lately. A lot of American Athletic. Corey Thomas has a New Mexico State offer. That's probably his highest offer. Then some Ohio Valley Conference offers and Summit League offers, amongst others. And then Arjante Dallas, my point guard, he has a lot of high-level D2 and low major scholarship opportunities on the table at the moment. And so really, the tournament can always tell the guys one game, 1 week can change your life. If you make a run, it could change all of your recruitment. And but they've really bought into that. I've really enjoyed my sophomore class, and we added a transfer too to make the right format or the right togetherness of the team, the right chemistry, and it's just been a fun year. I'm really proud of the guys.
So that whole being picked 8th thing, was that did you feel like in the preseason at least that was a fair assessment of where you were, and when did you realize that you were not that?
Well, I'd say I realized when we weren't going to be that is when Jeff Wanquo decided to come back. He had originally committed to Marist, and we were going to lose him, and then he decided to bet on himself that he can play at a higher level. And I mean, he went from a guy that was a wide receiver at Tulane at one point to a guy that's going to be a potential high major basketball player here in the next couple weeks if he makes his decision relatively quickly. So when he came back, I had a feeling that hey, things could really move forward for us just with his talent alone. And then having Corey Thomas, a big 6'10" kid, to control the paint, and he's averaged a double-double this year. And in 22 years, he's the first guy I've ever had that averaged that many rebounds. We had the pieces, and then, like I said, added a transfer here, a couple other guys step up there. The freshmen have really bought in. And one I want to highlight is Wichita Heights product, Marcus Ziegler. He's an absolute winner, and he's been a fantastic addition to our team. He's brought a lot of winning qualities to our program.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Marcus. So you ruined that question for me, Coach, but I'll go on to the next one. How's that?
No problem. No, Marcus is fantastic.
So what is it about this level? You were in Tonkawa coaching down there for a while. You were an assistant coach in the Jayhawk. What is it about this level of basketball that entices you, intrigues you, makes your motor run?
JUCO gave me my opportunity to kind of change my life and push forward towards different goals. And I really feel like this is where my biggest impact can be. I really relate to a lot of junior college kids. And I just, like I said, the relationships I have with these guys, the investment that we put into each other, and just the level of play. It's really good basketball. Just the pace, how hard people work. And then there's like that natural kind of chip on your shoulder, poor, hungry driven mindset with junior college kids that you're just trying to get out and get to the next level, trying to get people to believe in you. And that's all I ever was as a kid, trying to get a chance, somebody believe in me. And so I try to pay it forward and give back to the ones that gave to me with Ken Darding, Dale Cushenberry, Tommy DeSalm. And I don't really even see myself changing levels. I just love junior college.
Well, I think that's awesome. Donnie Jackson, our coach from Cowley College. So before I let you go, we asked John Ontjes this question earlier about the portal and NIL and the way Division I is changing so quickly. What effect is that having on junior college basketball?
It's all brand new. So while I think there is an effect, I'm not sure we truly know what it truly is just yet. Kids do ask about NIL and, opportunities. And, we can't really do anything with NIL as coaches. It's kind of brought on by the kids themselves or, an outside person that has an interest in them. And, it's just we got to adjust with the times. And the transfer portal is very hard. I feel like it pushes recruiting back at least a month and a half for us JUCO guys. Back in the day, I'd like to try to be done by May 1st, middle of May. And now the reality is a lot of kids just wait for the opportunities, and you may not finish your recruiting class until mid-July or, heck, even into school nowadays. So it's definitely changed quite a bit.
All right. Well, best of luck today, Ed. Try to get that second win over at the men's national tournament in Hutchinson. Cowley College against Northwest Florida State, 5 o'clock today. Donnie, thanks. We really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me on, and go Tigers.
Thanks.
There you go, Donnie Jackson. Good story to tell.
Very good.
Love to read that one.
Who's Randy Springs?
Oh, he used to coach at Wyandotte back in the day, and then he spent some time at Highland Park. And
isn't Ken Darding their guy that's been there forever?
Yeah,
was
but
there
Randy
forever?
Springs was there, and he's probably there much earlier than I even remember him being there. But I loved Randy Springs. Absolutely loved him.
Because this guy didn't play high school ball in the 70s. He was probably playing in like the 2000s.
Yeah, late 90s. I thought maybe Randy Springs was there at that time.
It's all good.
There you go again.
What did I do now?
Oh, just sitting and wait. I'm going to get my dad now.
No, I wanted to know who Randy Springs was.
Yeah, but you had an ulterior motive.
Not really, because I thought Ken Darding was there like forever.
Ken Darding was there forever, but he was somewhere else before he was at Highland Park.
I like Highland Park.
But Randy Springs, I have great stories to tell. I was hoping that he had known Randy Springs, but the very first tournament, the all-class, I can't remember what they called it, but every state champion, boys and girls, went to play at Hayes.
Right.
And that was back in the Grand State. Yeah, Grand State. And we had some good times with Coach Springs.
That'd be fun if they continued to do that.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't, but it would be fun.
Shawnee Mission Northwest, they would have been tough to beat for anybody, but you never know.
Well, you never know. You never know. McPherson might have gotten them.
Maybe.
Capon might have gotten them.
Maybe.
That's all.
I don't think those teams have enough size. Never seen a team like Shawnee Mission Northwest.
Size schmize. If you play them, you get them. All right, we'll come back and talk about the NCAA tournament. We've made it through the opening week of the tournament. We're now down to the Sweet 16. We'll check our brackets. I've had a better run of late, but still nothing to gloat about.
I was told mine are pretty bad.
You've been awful.
Yeah, that's okay.
Both of your brackets are awful. I don't know how that happens, but both of them.
I don't know. Just happens,
They're
I
like
guess.
next to last place and last place.
That's what I was told, yeah.
How are we supposed to listen to you?
You don't have to. No one asked you to.
We'll be back.
Celebrate and save at Ashley's Anniversary Sale. With Hot Buys, your choice of colors starting at just $3.99. Ashley Sleep mattresses starting at $2.50. Plus, receive a free adjustable base with select mattress purchases. And shop top mattress brands like Stearns & Foster, Tempur-Pedic, Purple, and Beautyrest Black with 60-month special financing. Only at Ashley. Subject to credit approval. No minimum purchase required. Minimum monthly payment, down payment, tax, and delivery may be required. See store for details.
Why?
Why?
If you have T-Mobile 5G home internet, you might be hearing this
Why?
a lot.
Why?
Every time your internet slows down during the busiest hours.
Why?
Why?
Because your network gives priority to cell phone users.
Why?
Good question. Why not switch to Cox Internet with 2 times faster download speeds than T-Mobile 5G home internet during peak hours?
Okay.
Stop the whys and visit cox.com/5G home for details. T-Mobile prioritizes certain T-Mobile phone users over home internet users during times of congestion.
We all agree that reducing carbon emissions is a good thing. And once again, Toyota is leading the way. We hear a lot about fully electric vehicles, and Toyota has them, with more coming in. But we also know a BEV is not for everyone, whether it's because of cost, range, or concern about finding a charging station when you need it. Plus, the raw materials used to manufacture batteries are limited. Enter Beyond Zero, Toyota's vision for a carbon-neutral future. In vehicles and in manufacturing plants, too, in the years ahead. The materials used to make just one long-range battery for an EV could be used to make batteries for 6 plug-in hybrids or 90 gas-electric hybrids. That's why Toyota's position today is electrified, diversified, empowering you to choose how to reduce your own carbon footprint with the vehicle that's right for you, a hybrid, plug-in hybrid, or battery EV. So shop, learn more, and get details at toyota.com/beyond zero. Toyota, let's go places.